They told her to cover her scar after the accident. At 68, she finally stopped listening and started a revolution for women who've been told they were too old to be beautiful. From the moment Margaret woke up, her ritual began. First, the silk scarf always draped just so to hide the jag line running from her left temple to jawline. Then the foundation, thick enough to blur but never erase. At 68, she de-perfected the art of disappearance. The car accident that took her husband Henry had left her with more than grief. It branded her face with what strangers called an eyesore and well-meaning friends termed unfortunate. Her students at Jefferson Elementary never saw it. Margaret retired 2 years early, unable to bear their whispered questions. Now she haunted the edges of her own life, early morning grocery runs before the store grew crowded, book club via Zoom with her camera off, Sunday mass in the back pew where the stained glass shadows fell kindly. Her condo mirrored this vanishing act, every reflective surface angled away, photographs turned face down. Only her late-night sketching sessions revealed the truth. In those private hours, she drew women with scars like crowns, wrinkles like brush strokes, faces that dared take up space. But when dawn came, Margaret would tuck those drawings into Henry's old briefcase and not another scarf. Until the Tuesday her hand shook too much to apply makeup. Until she stood frozen in a drugstore aisle, staring at her reflection in a compact mirror, raw, unadorned, terrifying. A teenage clerk interrupted her trance. "Ma'am, you okay?" Margaret fled, leaving her cart behind. That night she didn't draw. She sat at Henry's piano instead, fingers hovering over keys he'd last touched. When she finally played, the scarf slipped, and for the first time in 12 years, Margaret didn't reach to adjust it. It started with cantaloupe. Margaret always bought them on Thursdays, Henry's favorite. But this Thursday, the produce aisle held an ambush. 2 women in their 70s, perfectly coiffed and murmuring over peaches, spotted her scar as she reached for fruit. "Shouldn't she at least try covering that?" one stage whispered. The other laughed, a tinkling, cruel sound. Margaret's hand froze. Years of swallowed comments rose like bile. "Excuse me," her voice surprised even her. The women stiffened. "We just think," the first sniffed, "at our age, we owe it to others to look presentable." Something snapped. Margaret set the cantaloupe down with deliberate calm. "And I think at our age, we owe it to ourselves to stop apologizing for existing." A nearby teen filmed the whole exchange on her phone. By evening, "Scar Not Sorry" was trending. The video showed Margaret as trembling hands. Her regal posture, the way sunlight caught her silver hair like a halo around her flaw. Comments poured in. "This queen is my new hero. My mastectomy scars, thank you. Lost my husband too." This hit hard. Margaret shut off her phone, overwhelmed. But at 3 a.m. she opened Henry's briefcase. One by one, she taped her drawings to the bare walls. Warrior women with laugh lines, battle scars, unbound hair. When dawn came, she left the scarves in the drawer. The knock came at 10 a.m., an hour when Margaret usually hid from solicitors. But the man at her door wasn't selling anything, dressed in a tailored gray suit with grief etched into his features. He held out a bouquet of white gardenias. "Mrs. Whitmore, I am Elias Grant. May I speak with you about something important?" His voice cracked on the last word. Over tea, he confessed his wife Claire had died in a car accident 5 years prior, leaving a nearly identical scar. "She stopped leaving the house," Elias said, tracing his own cheekbone. "When I saw your video, He slid a photo across the table. "Claire at 65. Her scar visible beneath a hesitant smile." Margaret's breath caught. "She was beautiful," she whispered. Elias nodded. "So are you. That is why I want to make you the face of my new campaign." He opened a leather portfolio revealing sketches of older women laughing, dancing unretouched. The tagline, "True Lines, Beauty That Has Lived." Margaret touched Claire's photo. "Why me?" "Because when you stood up to those women, I saw Claire's courage, and the world needs to see it too." Margaret glanced at her drawings now lining the walls. For the first time since Henry's death, she felt truly seen. The studio lights were softer than Margaret expected. No heavy makeup. Just a kind stylist who said, "Your skin tells a story, let us honor it." When the photographer asked her to think of Henry, she didn't cry. She laughed, a rich, unexpected sound that made the scar curve like a crescent moon. The resulting image stopped hearts nationwide. Margaret in a crimson sweater, silver hair loose, face tilted toward the light as if whispering to a ghost. The caption simply read, "This is 68. By noon, True Lines challenge flooded social media. Grandmothers posted selfies with chemotherapy ports. Widows shared burns from kitchen fires. Retired teachers revealed lifelong birthmarks." Elias watched from the sidelines, tears in his eyes. "Claire would love this," he told Margaret. But not all feedback was kind. A viral blog post sneered, "Stop glorifying disfigurement." Margaret's hand shook holding her phone until she noticed the comments beneath it. "I'm 72 and finally proud of my face thanks to her. My students call me Captain Scar, now their hero." That night, Margaret did something unthinkable. She joined Instagram. Her first post, a side-by-side of her 40-year wedding photo and the campaign ad. The caption then, "Hiding for love, now loving without hiding." 1 year later, the True Lines Foundation unveiled its flagship project, Free Portrait Sessions for Women Over 60. Shot by Margaret herself, the gallery opening drew crowds not influencers or press, but ordinary women who'd traveled cross-country to stand before Margaret as photographs. Each image bore the same handwritten label, flawless. Elias found Margaret by Claire's portrait, now displayed beside Henry's. "You've given them what Claire never had," he said, "permission to take up space." Margaret smiled, her scar catching the gallery lights. "No, Elias, they gave it to me." That night, she walked home slowly, surfless beneath the stars. Emails could wait. The foundation's inbox overflowed with requests from Tokyo, Nairobi, Rio, but this moment was hers. At her building's lobby mirror, Margaret paused. For decades, she'd averted her eyes from this spot. Now she met her reflection head-on, tracing the scar's path like a beloved roadmap. Somewhere, a teenager would snap her first unedited selfie. A widow would leave her house without foundation. A grandmother would finally tell the story behind her burn marks. And Margaret, she'd keep playing Henry's piano, keep sketching warrior women, keep living like the masterpiece she was. The revolution hadn't ended. It had simply found its face.